All right, warriors, this is pre-algebra, and we are in Chapter 14, Lesson 2, and this is Example 4. We're going to do a real-life application problem. All right, it says find the surface area of the baseball display case. Now, surface area means the area of all of the surfaces. Now, all of these surfaces are shaped like a square. And how many squares are there? There are 6 of them in the display case. So if I knew the area of one of these squares, I would just then multiply that by 6, and I would have the surface area. How do I find the area of a square? Well, I just take the side and multiply it by another side. So all I have to do is figure out what the side of the square is, multiply, find the area of one square, and then multiply that by 6, and I'll have the surface area. Easy peasy. The only problem is that they did not tell us what the size of the square is. We know that this is a side. That side is S, but they didn't tell us what S was. Instead, they told us volume. Now, volume is a different formula. For volume, you take a side, and then you multiply it by another side, and then you multiply it by the height. So it's side times side times side. All right, so that changes things quite a bit for us. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to need to use the volume that we have to find the length of a side. And then once we have the length of the side, we can then find the surface area of our display case. All right, so the formula for the volume of a cube, volume is equal to the side times another side times another side. So that is S cubed. Now they have told us that the volume is 125. So let's replace V with 125. So 125 is equal to S cubed. But I don't want to know S cubed. I want to know S. How do I change an S cubed into an S? Well, I'm going to have to do the inverse operation of cubing. I'm going to need to take the cube root. So I'll take the cubic root here, because the cubic root and the cube will cancel each other out. But if I take the cubic root on one side, I need to also take the cubic root on the other side. All right, so the cubic root of S cubed is just S, and the cubic root of 125 is 5. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25, and then multiply that by another 5 to get 125. So S is 5. So that means the length of one side is 5 units. All right, now that we know the length of one side, we can now find the surface area. All right, so let's make a little bit more space here. Okay, the surface area has its own formula. That the surface area of a cube is equal to 6 times the area of one of the squares. And the area of one of the squares is side times side. All right, so our formula is 6s squared. Now we know the value of our little s. That's 5. So to find our surface area is going to be equal to 6 times 5 squared. All right, what is 5 squared? 5 times 5 is 25. And then I'm going to multiply that by 6, what will we have? 6 times 25 is 150. So our surface area is equal to 150. Now what was this? Inches, centimeters? What was this? It was inches. So now this is surface area, so we're going to say inches squared. This area is always in square inches. Volume is always in cubic. All right, let's try another one. The volume of a music box that is shaped like a cube is 512 cubic centimeters. Find the surface area of the music box. Okay, so if we closed this music box, it would be shaped like a cube. The volume of that cube is 512. Now, remember the formula for the volume is the side cubed. Okay, so if I know the measurement of one side and I cube that, I'll have the volume. Well, in this case, they told us the volume. I am looking for the measurement of one side. So they said the volume is 512. So that means the side cubed is 512. I need to know the side. So I'm going to take the cubic root of both sides. All right, what is the cubic root of 512? Oh, it's already in. We've done this one, haven't we? I can see it's in the calculator. Let's pretend it's not in the calculator. All right, so 512, and I take the cubic root. It's 8. All right, so that means the side is equal to 8. But I'm not looking for the side, I'm looking for the surface area. That was a different formula, right? The surface area of a cube is equal to 6 times a side squared. Now I know that a side, in this example, is 8. So I'm going to replace the side with an 8. So I'm going to say 8 squared, and then I'll multiply that by the 6. That will give me my surface area. 8 squared is 64, and I multiply the 64 by 6. Okay, let me clear this. 64 times 6 is 384. And they said this was in centimeters, so I'm going to say centimeters squared, because area is always squared. All right, so my surface area for the music box is 384. What did we do? In each example, we took the formula for the volume, used that formula to find a side, then we took the formula for the surface area, plugged in the side, and simplified it to find the actual surface area. All right, that concludes example 4, and that concludes lesson 2.